What's going on, everybody? Zack Williams back with another episode for the Men in Uncaged. If you don't know, this is the journey to the top 1%. And how do we get to the top 1%? It's by becoming 1% better daily. Now, with that said, I have been thinking long and hard on what episode has to come after the previous episode. Episode 14, if you haven't seen it, go back, watch it, listen to it. It might give you some context into what we're going to talk about today. With that said, I cannot stress this enough. Fuck your past. Fuck your previous traumas. Fuck your story if you are allowing it to hold you back. It is nothing more than a fucking crutch, and it is your responsibility to get the fuck over it. I say that with all fucking due respect, but I am saying this because I do respect you enough to call you out on your bullshit when you're allowing something that you literally have no control over to control you. You're a motherfucking man, right? You're a fucking leader, right? It is now time for you to lead your fucking self. It is now time for you to grow a pair of fucking balls and get over the fucking shit that has happened to you in the past. You heard my previous episode. You understand what it takes to be a man. Now, I want to talk about this because I am very honored here when I say this. I'm very honored, and it is with great pride that I get to speak to so many fucking dope human beings, especially men, because of what I do. And we have now been spreading Dillin's story. If you haven't seen that episode 10, go back and listen to Dillin's story. We have been able to spread awareness about Dillin and his story and how incredible it is. If you haven't read my book, I've got a crazy story too. If you haven't been on any of the expert calls inside of the VIP program, they all have stories too. I've told a story in the past about being at a fucking kid's birthday party and some guy coming up to me and confronting me basically like a woe is me and like, oh, you must be nice on who you are and what you do and you get to travel the world and speak on stages and this and that, whatever. He's like, I can't do that. I was a fucking meth addict. Fuck you. Right? I don't give a fuck what your past is. Y'all heard on the previous episode, like I've been through it sexually, physically, mentally, financially, like everything is abused. But that's not who the fuck I am today. And it shouldn't be who the fuck you are either. And if you're allowing that to hold you back, and again, I know I am reiterating a lot of content that we talked about last week, but literally from that point to today, I have had more and more signs that like this point needs to be driven home. And I say that because we have been promoting Dillin's story. And through that, I have had the honor of having conversations with people who have no idea what Uncaged even is. I am being able to get on the phone with men who are seeing Dillin's story and how captivating that is. And they're getting shown a light at the end of the tunnel. There's people out there that have been through shit like they have that aren't fucking letting that situation, the past trauma or whatever the case, hold them back. And dude, it's been really awesome because literally as of last night or the night before, one of these new members that's never heard about Uncaged or personal development, professional development, or anything of the sort, didn't even know something like this was out there, heard Dillin's story, got to see him leading by example, and came into the free group and shared his story. And it was, I honestly rambled on the comment because all I could keep saying was like, wow, this is incredible. Holy shit. Like, this dude has a wild story. And it was so cool for me to see him instantly on a single 30-minute phone call I had with him completely open up, completely change the trajectory of his life, going from thinking that was something that needed to be hidden, that was something that needed to be frowned upon to talk about, that was something that needed to be swept under the rug, those skeletons needed to be kept in the closet, to realizing that talking about this story opens up a whole new life. And it was awesome because in this thread, Dillin got on there complimenting him, talking about how incredible his story was, So I want y'all to see this timeline. Here is us, Uncaged, promoting Dillin's story. One of our incredible founding members sharing his story. It's a hard story. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Episode 10. It's a fucking hard story to watch. It's not something that I would ever wish on anyone. But because he was brave enough to open up, and he was strong enough to use a situation that would devastate anyone that went through to revisit who he wanted to be moving forward, because he had two fucking choices: to let what happened to him dictate him going down the wrong path or him going down the right path. Thank God he chose the correct path. And because he opened up and shared his story and shared how making the conscious decision not to let his past hold him back, it affected someone else who then got on there inside the ecosystem of Uncaged, inside the free group, and shared their story. And now Dillin's commenting on this, congratulating this for being an incredible human being and being able to overcome stuff that was, honestly, again, another fucking story that would just put a lot of people at rock bottom. No, it did. It put this guy at rock bottom. He admits it, but he talks about what he learned throughout the process. And here's now Dillin talking to him about how proud he is of him for overcoming that. But this guy wouldn't have opened up and wouldn't have gone out and told his story if Dillin hadn't have been brave enough to not only overcome his story, but then talk about it. Whereas now the new guy was able to go share his story, and let's see who now that affects. His story is going to touch someone else differently, in a different way. We all have our own stories. We've all been through shit. And that's what's been so cool for me to have this experience of talking to these guys that are just now learning that there's something like this out there in the world for men to come together and put fucking egos aside and realize that, like, yeah, man, we went through some shit too. Got the t-shirt, dog. Now what? Now how do we take those losses and learn from them and apply them to our life so that we don't keep reiterating the same mistakes over and over and over and over? But it never starts until you get transparent and vulnerable and honest. So, like, whatever the fuck it is, your past is holding you back. It is keeping you from becoming that next version of yourself. Again, reiterated on episode 14. Guys, this is what's cool about Uncaged, is now that we've got this guy telling his story, and now that we've got more members or more people that are interested in even what's personal development, bro? What's professional development? There's a group of guys out there that actually give a fuck about each other, that don't need money or anything else from you. What is this about? What is that? What's this movement? What is Uncaged? What's it mean to uncage your inner beast? And I'm having more and more of these conversations. And what's so crazy to me is because I take very strong pride and responsibility in getting to know as many of the members as possible, knowing who they are, what they do, where they come from, what they've been through, how they learned from it, as I'm able to connect people that are like-minded with common denominators that they've been through. Because as I have more and more conversations with people that are hearing Dillin's story, that are seeing more information about Uncaged, as the movement is growing in awareness, I get to see more and more people, have conversations with more and more people on the phone, in text messages, and DMs, whatever the case is. And what I've come to realize is there is someone in the group that's been through it, is going through it, or will go through it. I could sit here all day long and talk about all the different walks of life that these men have come from. Some of these guys, they've been through some shit. Way worse shit than I've ever been through. It's very hard for me sometimes to have some of the conversations with some of these guys. Because I can't even fathom the shit that they've been through in their past. But the level of pride and respect and honor that I have to call these people my fucking friends, because I've seen the devastation that they've been through, but they didn't allow it to become their destiny. It literally changed them for the better. And I promise you, many of them would never wish what they've been through on their worst fucking enemy. But now it gives them the authority to help other people through that same situation. Many of y'all know my story. I get to take that opportunity to help someone else that's dealing with it. I actually have done that multiple times with even some of the VIP members. But it's because I didn't sit there and allow that past to dictate my future, right? You've heard, don't let your mess become your message, right? Yeah, don't let the devastation be your destiny. If you stay in there, you'll die in there. It's up to you now to start overcoming it and figuring out what are those lessons that you needed to learn that was through that. What was it that happened that irrevocably changed you? And how can you use that change for better? It's literally your responsibility. If you ever want to move past it, it is your responsibility to overcome it. And I encourage you to share that with the world. Again, I don't necessarily recommend people just going out there and just talking about what they've been through in an attempt to make money, an attempt to scare tactic people into accountability or purchasing products or services, whatever the case is. Like, these stories become fabricated very quickly for some of the people that are out there that are looking to manipulate the situation. And it's funny because I see this all the time, and hopefully this little nugget can give you a little bit of encouragement to go out there and talk about this stuff more instead of keeping it in the shadows. But I've been around public speakers a lot. I've been around gurus a lot. I've been around incredibly successful multimillionaires and incredibly, honestly, not successful multimillionaires, if you can believe that there's such a thing. And I hear different pitches. I hear different speeches. I hear different keynotes. I see different posts. I see the stories. And a majority of these guys, I actually know them personally or have seen them in real life versus compared to who they are on stage. And throughout this process, especially in the world of social media and the highlight reels, you see these guys that want to come out and they want to flex all their assets. They want to get you to buy into their success. And that's cool and all if it is done ethically and it is controlled morally as far as the outcome that they're looking for. But what I want you to hear right now is more people can relate to your failures than can relate with your successes. If you are to look statistically, and I'm talking about high performers here. The difference between someone that fails and is a loser and someone that fails and is a winner is the motherfucker that keeps going. Is the motherfucker that doesn't give up. The motherfucker that understands that this loss is just a learning lesson to be able to apply it to your future moving forward so that you don't make the same mistake again. Insanity. And you use that learning lesson to be able to create your next win, to create your next success, right? This is literally your responsibility. But for those of you who are watching right now that's holding on to that bullshit from your past, you ain't never going to get there. Lesson 101 is letting go of that bullshit. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. If episode 14 didn't get it through, you could probably stop listening to this channel altogether. If you haven't listened to episode 14, highly encourage you to go back and listen to this. But as we start to look at what is moving forward now, how do we grow from this? And how do we experience the ability to continue fighting on? Success is not easy. Success, the word, is often misconstrued, especially in the era of social media like we have today. Media, social media, you name it. It's all fake. It's all fraud. It's all lies. It's all scams. When you start to look at like what truly matters and what truly makes someone successful. And I'm talking about, I've got guys that make less than $100,000 a year that are hyper successful individuals based on who they are, what they do, and what they want, and how they feel as a human being, and how they treat their family, how they treat others, their mission in life, and what they do. And then I've got guys that are doing $100 million a year businesses inside of VIP that are successful. I also know some guys, thankfully not in VIP, that run $100 million a year businesses that aren't successful. I know some guys that claim that they do $100 million a year businesses that clearly aren't successful, but that's not for this episode. But what I need you to understand is, as you're going through this, to become successful and to be the person that you deserve to be, it comes with understanding yourself. And part of understanding yourself is the shit that happened to you in the past. I wouldn't be here today, or I wouldn't be the man that I am today for myself. I would not be the man that I am today for my wife. And I would not be the man that I am today for my daughter if I had not gone through that. And it was up to me to understand my past traumas. It was up to me to understand my triggers, to be able to move forward, to be the motherfucker that I am today. Now, the coolest fucking thing about the motherfucker that I am today is I'm not going to be this person tomorrow. I'm going to be fucking better. There's two people that I'm in competition with in life, in general, fucking period. The motherfucker I was yesterday and the motherfucker I'm going to be today. And I promise you, if you're allowing shit to hold you back, you won't feel that in your soul. I feel that in my soul. I genuinely fucking believe I am a bad motherfucker. Now, I'm a high performer. I'm always looking for opportunities to become better, to become more efficient, to be more successful, to get more wins than I do losses. So yes, there are days where I don't necessarily, where I'm having a down day. You got peaks and you got valleys. But even through those valleys, even through those down days, is understanding that I am still a bad motherfucker, because I'm looking in those down days for the learning lesson and things that I could have done to avoid them. Y'all have heard me talk about it in the past with Heather. You know, my objective isn't to not fucking fight with my wife. My objective is to not have the same fucking fight twice. Same objective in my professional and personal life. I'm not ignorant enough to, I'm not looking to not lose. I'm just looking to not lose and not learn something from it. I'm looking to not lose today on this and then lose again to it tomorrow, and then lose again to it the next day, and then continue losing to the same fucking thing over and fucking over. And so to bring a lot of this full circle, as some of you motherfuckers out there right now are fucking losing. You lost fucking today. You lost fucking tomorrow. And you're probably going to fucking lose you lost yesterday. And you're probably going to fucking lose tomorrow because you haven't learned from your past. You're allowing that fucking dark cloud to hang over your fucking head, and you are using it as a fucking excuse. You're using it. You're giving yourself fucking permission to feel bad for yourself. You're giving yourself permission to allow what happened back then to hold you back from today, tomorrow, the next day. So while you're going out there thinking about success, because we all do it. I don't care if you're laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and you're daydreaming. Must be nice if, for so-and-so to have this. I wish I had this. Jealousy and envy just, consuming your body. Or you're over here like, man, I think I would love to have that one day, whatever the case is. But you aren't, you get to live in this alternate reality during your pre-dream dream. For those of you who know what I've talked about pre-dream dreams, like you get to live in this alternate reality. And maybe you get excited about it. Maybe you're smiling while you're laying in bed thinking about like the what could be's. But all the time during the fucking day, you're allowing irrelevant shit from the past hold you back from ever being able to allow those fucking dreams to become realities. So like, what is it right now that you are doing where you're giving yourself permission to fucking take it easy, to fucking let off the fucking gas? You're giving yourself permission to be fucking lazy. Oh, man. I was traumatized in the past. I was bankrupt. I was homeless. I went through divorce. I was suicidal. I was depressed. I have anxiety. I have ADHD. I have bipolar depression. I have multiple personality disorder. I've got chemical imbalances. Fucking learn about it. Learn how to overcome it. Guys, this might get me canceled. I know a lot of successful people with fucking chemical imbalances. I know a lot of people that are successful with bipolar depression. Guess what? They found their triggers. They figured out ways to be better. They still have bad days. But how can they take those bad days and learn from it and grow from it? One of the things that we teach inside of Uncaged is there's two main things when you're dealing with triggers and you're dealing with traumas and you're dealing with mental illness or whatever the case is. The first things first is you need to learn how to recognize it sooner than later. I see it in men all the time. You want to pretend like it didn't happen, or you want to pretend like it's not real, or you want to pretend like it's not affecting you, right? You keep ignoring the signs. And you just kind of that, or you just accept it is what it is. And that's not fucking true, right? You have got to start recognizing those triggers, those past traumas trying to come up and haunt you quicker. Use this as an exercise. You start to see what triggers you. You start to pay attention to it. Get a journal if you have to. Start journaling and understanding, what are my triggers? Where are we at? How does this happen? What sets me off? What is it that hits the PTSD and it starts igniting, chemical imbalances in my brain? Whatever the case is, you start to notice it and you get quicker and quicker and quicker at noticing it. Stop letting it draw out. Get a shorter timeline, and a shorter timeline to the point where as soon as it happens, you recognize it. Name them if you have to. I think it was Positive Intelligence talks about naming, right? You start to understand who you are and what sets you off, because it's literally your fucking responsibility. Yeah, shit happened to you in the fucking past. We're talking about right goddamn now. We're talking about what the fuck are you going to do to recognize what is triggering you? You might have got triggered when I talked about multiple personality disorder or chemical imbalances or depression or suicidal thoughts. It might have fucking triggered you. And now you're like completely shutting me off. I think he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Fuck you, bro. That's fine. That is your responsibility to get over. It's not mine. I'm trying to help you through this. And if you can't recognize that's your bed to lie on, not mine. But the ones that are sitting here listening to this right now, they're saying, you know what? He might be on to something. I'm telling you, this is what we are teaching inside of Uncaged, and it's fucking changing lives. Recognizing it sooner. As soon as you can, put a fucking face to that demon, recognize that black cloud, that deep fucking dark hole, recognize it as quickly as possible. Then the next thing you have to do is you have to get through it as quickly as possible. Recognize it quicker and get through it quicker. Do your own research, because we could sit here for hours and talk about different triggers, different traumas, and ways to overcome them. Visualizations, manifestations, grounding, you name it. We could sit here and talk about a bunch of different things, but it's your responsibility to figure this out. I'm giving you homework. Start recognizing it sooner than later. Start journaling it if you have to. And then 2, getting through it as quickly as possible, which requires you to be a bad motherfucker. I'm calling you out. I want you to be that bad motherfucker. There is a version of you that while you're in that deep dark hole, lost, afraid, confused, scared. There's a version of you that's walking around on the outside in the light, happy. It's up to you as that version to look down and recognize you in that deep, dark hole, scared and afraid, lost and confused. And it's up to you to reach down and grab that motherfucker and pull him out. It's fucking your responsibility. We talked about it on the roundtable calls. Look at the bison. The bison see storms coming. They don't try to run from them. Because as you run from them, it catches up and it stays over you longer. That cloud is going to stay over you longer. The bison turn, they face the storm, and they run through it because they know they can get through it quicker. That is your responsibility. Letting go of that bullshit in the past. It's not who you are. It's not who you deserve to fucking be. But as long as you allow it to keep you chained down, it is who you deserve to be. It fucking sucks to say that, but I wish there's something that I could do or say to get people to understand the importance of this. The hype reel for, the Q2 retreat in Scottsdale, Arizona, one of the sound bites that came out of it was me talking about we spend all this fucking time learning other things. We spend all this time learning skill sets, tasks, we whether it's learning how to do a video game, how to build a car, how to build computers, whatever the case is, going to the gym, nutrition, workout plans, supplements, all this stuff. But we don't learn ourselves. We don't do research on ourselves. We don't read books specifically based on things that we know that we have deficiencies in, that we lack in. There's multiple things that you should be paying attention to. Your strengths, what are those? Do you even know what your strengths are? Are you allowing these chains of your past, how people used to treat you, what people used to say to you, what your parents fucking thought of you, to put you in this fucking box and allow that to be the box that you live in for the rest of your fucking life? Let go of it. Rewrite your fucking story, dog. I don't give a fuck what you got to do. Move out of the house. Move away from home. Get out of fucking town. Leave that fucking toxic relationship. Toxic relationship can be fucking friends, family, loved one. I don't give a fuck. Toxicity is fucking toxicity. Stop letting people put you in a fucking box. But part of that is understanding your strengths. Some of y'all might not even be able to tell me what your strengths are. It's your responsibility to fucking know this because you do have strengths. It is literally up to you to figure those out and to talk about it, to share your story. You're also going to have weaknesses. So what are you doing to understand those demons? What are you understanding to understand how to grow out of that? You want to learn how to work out? You want to learn nutrition? You want to learn workout routines because you're either a fat piece of shit or you're skinny as fuck, whatever the case is. Hey guys, I can raise my hand. Been there, done that. I wanted to overcome that. I wanted a different body. So guess what I did? I studied and I studied and I studied and I fucking learned it. I wanted to get really, really good at marketing. So what did I do? I fucking studied and I studied and studied and I fucking learned it. How many of y'all would like to stop being angry motherfuckers, but you don't fucking study for it? How many of y'all want to stop being little pussies, but you don't research yourself. You don't figure out what triggers you. You don't understand what you could do to combat some of these self-doubting imposter syndrome thoughts that you have. So anyways, you have two things. You have your strengths and you have your weaknesses. Why aren't you learning both? Why aren't you learning to take your strengths to the next level to become that top 1% by becoming 1% better daily? But why don't you start protecting yourself, figuring out where your shortcomings are? Because we all fucking have them, and learn how to become better holistically, to raise your average, to set a new standard for yourself. You can be whoever you fucking want to be. It's going to be this version of yourself that you are right fucking now, or it's going to be a better one. And it's up to you to fucking decide which one you want to be and then put some action behind that. Say it with your fucking chest. Again, like, I know who I am. I know what I've been through. Fucking sucks, dog. Fucking sucks. I've actually gotten more open and honest and vulnerable on these podcasts and in VIP on the roundtable calls and stuff like that than I have in my book. But I talk about it a lot in my book, and my book is enough to wreck a lot of people. A lot of people have read that and be like, God damn, bro, how did you? I could never. Yeah, you could. If you started to understand that the shit that happened in your past happened in your fucking past, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. The only thing you can do is control who you are right now. And who you are right now and what you do right now, it also inherently controls your future. So if you start fucking off right now, you're fucking robbing that future version of yourself. That blood of that dead motherfucker 5 years from now is who you were supposed to be, but because you chose to be lazy and ignorant and fucking ignore signs, that blood's on your hands. There is a version of yourself 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now that's standing there waiting on you. It could be a bad motherfucking version of you, bro. You focus on being 1% better daily, guess what? That's 37 times better year over year over year. What if you were 37 times stronger, 37 times more ripped, making 37 times more money, impacting 37 times more fucking people's lives? How awesome would that be? And you do that year over year over year over year for the next 5 years. There's that motherfucker waiting on you. You get to fucking shake hands with, give a fucking hug to. That motherfucker gets to say, I'm fucking proud of you. Thank you for becoming me. Or you slack off fucking today. You get there in 5 years, motherfucker laying on the ground, not alive. Because you didn't fucking build him. You didn't create that life for yourself. That blood is on your hands. It is up to you to become that version of yourself that you have the capabilities of becoming. But you'll never fucking get there if you got the chains of your fucking past holding on to you. Guys, I love y'all. I fucking love y'all so much. Man, it's been an incredible past several weeks that we've been building and, again, launching new things for the free group, launching new things for the VIP group. It's just been incredible. I've had the honor of speaking to more and more of you, getting to know your stories and getting to know who you really are. And I'm telling y'all, it means more to me than you'll ever understand, than you'll ever know. And it is giving me the motivation and inspiration to continue building this movement and working with the other guys inside of VIP. We now have all different types of departments for video teams, social media teams, coaching teams, accountability teams, you name it. It's been awesome just being a small piece of the puzzle for this movement. So if you care about this episode at all, if you got anything out of it, please share this episode. Help us share the Uncaged movement. We can't do this without you guys. It literally, and we don't want to do it without you guys. There's no egos here. There's no, unfortunately, it's going to be hard to talk about without people actually taking it serious. Talk to any of the VIP members, talk to any of the pack leaders, talk to anyone that's in the Uncaged free group that you look up to and ask their honest opinion. But like, we truly want to make a difference in this world. We want to make information like this, specifically for men, as accessible to as many men as possible. Women, we don't hate you, I promise. Not sexist. My wife runs a women's only group. Check out Unleashed. But like, it's our hope that if we can help men in this world become better, their families are going to, their families are going to benefit from it. Their businesses are going to benefit from it. Their friends will benefit from it. I genuinely believe that what we're doing here is setting the standards for the way men should be acting, both personally and professionally, in their health, in their wealth, and in their relationships. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to know any more about Uncaged, watch more of our podcasts, read any of our blogs, join the free group, join the VIP group, whatever the case is, buy some merch, this, that, whatever. Go to www.uncagedcrew.com, and we would love to hear more from you. We'd love to welcome you into the free group. We'd love to welcome you into the VIP group. And honestly, we'd just love to be surrounded by more like-minded men. So thank you guys so much for being with us, listening to this episode. Please give it a share. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.